at the movies with Tim Sika. Hi, Tim.
Hi, Kim. How are you?
Hi, good. How are you?
I'm getting over a cold,
Oh
which
no.
I can't seem to shake. I got felled by this thing on Monday, and
Oh,
I'm just getting my voice back. So if I sound kind of weird, that's why I'm sounding weird.
well,
I'm trying to get over this cold. Yeah.
what a trooper for you coming on anyway. I just really appreciate it. We'll get right to it then, because the first movie you have for us is, I believe, Dracula.
Yeah, Dracula. It's yet another cinematic iteration of the Bram Stoker classic novel.
Mhm.
This version was it's called Dracula, but it's also titled Dracula: A Love Tale,
Oh,
belying this approach to the material. So this Dracula's focus is on the love story between Prince Vladimir of Wallachia and his wife Elisabetta, who's killed during a battle with the Ottomans, which causes the prince to renounce God and become Dracula, who then makes it his mission to reunite through time, a lost love which doomed him to the realm of the undead. And the movie is about Dracula's attempts to track down the reincarnation of his wife with the help of vampiric agents. This sort of gaggle of creepy looking trolls.
oh,
It's funny to assist him in his search, and then and to help him develop a perfume designed to lure women to him, which is
oh.
very, very creepy. But anyway, to paraphrase the director, Luc Besson, in describing his approach to this new Dracula, because, people are the first thing people say is like, why another Dracula? I mean, there's been so many Draculas. Well, he said it was a totally romantic one, this adaptation. And he felt that there was a romantic side in Bram Stoker's book that hasn't really been explored or exploited. So he wanted to make a love story about a man who waits for 400 years for the reincarnation of his wife. So his focus would be on what he felt was the true heart of the story, waiting an eternity for the return of love, which
Mhm.
is nice. So after an intense and graphic prelude, which takes place in 1480 AD in Eastern Europe, we're hurtled 400 years later with Dracula making the rounds, sucking the blood out of the necks of all these women in search of his lost love and ensnaring Jonathan Harker, which is where the movie dramatizes familiar material. But anyway, what can I say about this movie? Caleb Landry Jones, who's an unusual looking guy, but he's a really great actor. He plays Dracula
Mhm.
in spectacular fashion. Christoph Waltz plays a priest out to kill Dracula, which was a variation on the Van Helsing role. And that this is one of the strengths of the movie. It's across the board very colorful performances. The production design is also a standout here, reminiscent of Francis Ford Coppola's Bram Stoker's Dracula from 1992, starring Gary Oldman. There's also a standout, epic, and damn near operatic Danny Elfman music score that's worth the price of admission alone. It's one of the composer's best scores in years. Visually, this Dracula is eye-catching as hell. There are some frightfully disturbing images throughout the film, like this one nightmarish sequence where Dracula reinvigorates himself with the blood of nuns.
Oh God.
Very, very creepy, and yeah, the stuff of nightmares. So in short, I think this is a very good, very different Dracula. But one I think fans of the Dracula mythos, like myself, will reasonably take to. This version is sort of like a hybrid vampire slash horror slash romantic drama, which makes it, again, in my opinion, a standout among all of the other movie Draculas. So I recommend it. It was surprisingly entertaining. It's creepy and it's disgusting at times, but it was entertaining. And I'm very fond of the whole Dracula novel and all the Dracula stuff that's out there and all the Dracula movies. So I was
Okay.
surprised. I went in there thinking this was going to be but I was caught up in it. Yeah.
Oh, you were caught up. All right.
Yeah.
As a rule, I avoid Dracula movies.
Yeah, I can understand that.
You know what it was? It was that movie with Brad Pitt.
Oh, Interview with the Vampire.
And there was a scene in that where they all surround this
Oh, yeah.
person that
Yeah.
gets feasted on, and You know
Oh
those
yeah.
so sometimes you see a horror movie and the images just stick with you and you just can't shake it.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
gross it freaked me out so much that I'm just like, I'm done with vampires. That's it.
Yeah, you may want to skip you may want to skip this one too. I
Yeah.
mentioned the one where he's going after the nuns, but
Yeah.
that's just one of several. And yeah, you don't want to watch this movie before you go to bed for
But there
sure.
are definitely people who enjoy the vampire, genre, and I think,
Hmm.
for them, they're not me. So good.
Yeah,
Go see this
yeah,
movie. That's awesome.
yeah. Yeah, if you're allergic to vampires,
I'm
yeah,
allergic. I'm
yeah,
particularly sensitive. Yes.
yeah, right. You'll want to skip this one because it's got all the earmarks of the stuff that that you were objecting to a minute ago.
Can
Yeah.
you tell me about The President's Cake?
Yeah. This is a film from Iraq that made the Academy shortlist for Best International Feature. Uh, and oh, this movie's hard to talk about. It's an extraordinary story of children trying to make their way through an impoverished part of the world. The setting here is Iraq under Saddam Hussein in the 1990s after Iraq's invasion of Kuwait and during the period of economic sanctions by Western countries that followed that. And the story focuses on a 9-year-old girl who's tasked by her school teacher to gather ingredients to bake a mandatory birthday cake to celebrate the president's birthday or face punishment at her
Oh,
school. But
okay.
she's poor. She lives with her sickly grandmother and her pet rooster, which is just adorable how they show this in the movie. And this is a simple, genuine, and it's a very pure story about innocent children getting caught up in the crosshairs of war and siege under a fascist totalitarian government where obedience to one leader is paramount above everything else. It's the
Mhm.
feature film directorial debut of this guy named Hassan Hadi, who co-wrote the script with Eric Roth, of all people. And Eric Roth wrote Forrest Gump and The
Oh,
Curious Case of Benjamin Button and the new Dune movies, among others. So I was surprised to see Eric Roth, co-wrote this Iraqi
yeah.
movie. Anyway, the movie was filmed entirely in Iraq, and the actors used were mostly untrained, which lends the film a kind of immediacy and truth because these quote unquote actors don't seem like they're acting at all. The young actress who played the 9-year-old girl and whose name is unpronounceable, I'm sorry, is extraordinary. And she breaks your heart as she travels through this impoverished city where groceries and food and even clean drinkable water is scarce in search of ingredients to make this cake for the president's birthday under threat of government punishment. In 1990, when the story takes place, Iraq faced very strict UN-backed sanctions, leading to extreme poverty amongst the populace, shortages,
Mhm.
and limited access to medicine. But despite all this, Saddam Hussein required all Iraqis to celebrate his birthday. Just stop whatever you're doing, and
Hear your voice.
even students were required through lottery to deliver goods in celebration of Hussein's natal day, things like fruit. And in the case of this little girl, her name was drawn, and her teacher said, "You have received the highest honor of all to bake a cake for the president's birthday." Now, how she was going to manage this is the gist and the grist of the film.
Yeah.
So it's about her journey through the city, trying to find these ingredients. And I mean, she meets a lot of awful people, and it's a sad movie, but it's also a very moving film. It's a haunting film, one whose images on the face of these children just linger in your memory long after the credits roll.
Mhm.
I was very affected by it, and I just thought it was a lovely, very touching film, and a real anti-fascist movie. I mean, it was clearly making a statement without waving flags and banners and things. It
Mhm.
was it's very clear, that the filmmaker probably experienced this, probably lived under it.
I like when you can make a point with the real experience and without being preachy about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
not
yeah,
just
yeah.
telling us listen, fascism is bad. You're like, here's what fascism is like, right?
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. There's no speechifying in this. Just shots of the populace, kind of worshiping Saddam, and yeah, just what the citizens are experiencing. That's all you need to see, and then you can conclude from yourself for yourself, like, oh, geez, is
Yeah.
this what it was like? Oh my God!
Mhm.
And then to be a child in this, trying to negotiate your way through it. It's oh God. Anyway, it's a beautiful film. It's a shame it didn't make it into the five. Nominees for Best International Film. It did make the shortcut, but it's a film that opens today in the Bay Area, and
Okay.
I hope people can check it out. It is in Arabic with English subtitles, but really you forget that you're watching a
Yep.
foreign language film. Yeah, it's that good.
Tim's classic movie recommendation of the week is it's so when you do this to me, Tim, I feel so old from
I
1989.
know, I know. Do you know
Glory.
do you know that's 37 years ago?
Stop that. Stop that right now.
I
Yep.
know, I know. And I saw this movie in the theater. Uh-oh, don't do the math,
Uh,
people, please. Anyway, yeah, I noticed Glory was streaming on Netflix, so I decided to revisit it. I hadn't seen it in a long time, but I had very fond memories of it, and I'm happy to say it's even better than I had remembered it. It beautifully holds up as it does, as historical entertainment as well as a cinematic work of art. I don't know why this movie doesn't get more play. It's aptly titled too, because it really is a glorious movie. It's a riveting drama that tells the hitherto shamefully uncelebrated story of the 54th Regiment of Massachusetts Volunteer Infantry, the first unit of Black troops raised by the Union to fight in the Civil War, and commanded by this guy named Colonel Robert Shaw, played by Matthew Broderick, the 25-year-old son of abolitionist Boston Brahmins. And it's directed by Ed Zwick, probably the best feature film work Ed Zwick has ever done. It was not interesting. It was nominated for 5 Academy Awards back in 1989. Shockingly, not for Best Picture or Director, but it won 3. It won for sound, it won for cinematography, and a supporting actor Oscar for Denzel Washington in one of his early roles. I would even go as far as to say that if this movie came out today, I would say that it would win the Best Picture Oscar, because they just don't make movies like this anymore.
mhm.
This movie is like a classical relic from Hollywood's past, even though it's only 37 years old. But and the movie's not only, for me, it's not only remarkable in its fidelity to history. It was based partly on the real Robert Gould Shaw's letters. It recreates the period with this remarkable accuracy, both in the observation of small details and in the film's truly harrowing battle scenes. I mean, these battle scenes just knock your socks off, and it packs an emotional wallop rarely found in movies made today, in no small part, I think, due to the tear producing musical score from James Horner. I mean, just listening to the film soundtrack, it moves you to tears. So,
Mhm.
yeah, compelling performances, rich plotting, alternately inspiring and horrifying. Yeah, this is an enlightening and entertaining tribute to heroes of this country,
Mhm.
too long and too often forgotten. And I think it's a movie that they should screen regularly in schools, just for the history aspect, and a story all U.S. citizens should know and be familiar with. Have you ever seen it?
I have long ago, and if it's you said it's streaming on Netflix.
It's streaming on Netflix. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
well, we're
Oh,
gonna
yeah,
be looking at.
and it also stars Morgan Freeman there. He's on the right,
Mhm.
and Denzel Washington is in the middle. He plays this sort of renegade, angry, rebellious uh, slave that gets recruited into the 54th Regiment of Massachusetts. But yeah, yeah, I just love this film, and I wish more people would get to see it.
My husband really loves this film. He's a bit of a Civil War buff.
Yeah, I remember you telling me. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
yeah.
I'm sure I can convince him. We watched your recommendation last weekend, Mr.
Well,
Smith Goes to Washington.
oh, what'd you think?
I enjoyed that movie. I thought it was really good. I'm glad that you recommended it, and I'm glad I watched it. Julia watched it with us, and so did, and my husband was there. I think that Jacob was doing something else, but it was really good. And so I think Glory, we can roll this one as well. Is this particularly violent? Could I get Jacob in this to watch this one?
Is it particularly violent?
He's going to be
Boy.
12. He'll be 12.
Well, the battle scenes, have
Oh,
their share of.
yeah, maybe not.
There's a real harrowing scene moment in the film. I think it dramatized the Battle of Antietam,
Oh,
and they really graphically show what it was like from the standpoint of these soldiers to get
no.
smacked in the face with a bullet.
Yeah,
So
no.
you may want to hold off for a while.
Yeah, probably. I
Yeah,
know. He's right at the cusp of having um being able to see more grown-up movies, but there's still like part of me as a mom that just wants to keep him sweet and innocent for as long as
sure,
possible.
sure.
His account, like we have it set up where it
Uh-huh.
just now rolled to he can see PG-13 movies.
Oh,
And I
okay.
had to put some restrictions on that to say if you want to watch a
Yeah.
PG-13 movie, you need to ask me first so I can look at it and see what movie you're trying to watch, because not all PG-13 movies are
No.
created the same.
No, and some
Yeah.
are graphic,
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how always they determine those ratings, but yeah.
All right, we'll do the wrap up. My Tim Sika, the first movie you had was Dracula. You said the focus here is on the love story of this. There's a great
Mm-hmm.
cast. You said it's one of Elfman's best musical scores in years. There are some disturbing images, but it's a good and different kind of Dracula, a hybrid vampire horror romantic drama movie, and you recommend it despite some creepiness and some gore. You got caught up in this movie, and if the vampires don't bother you, you said yeah, you're going to
Yeah,
recommend Dracula. Absolutely.
but if
As
they do bother you, you want to steer clear. Yeah.
The President's Cake, you really like this movie, and you said it's nominated for Best International Feature Oscar this year. It was completely filmed in Iraq, and all of the actors are untrained. You said the performances seem like they're not really acting. And you said the girl that plays the lead in this is so good. The movie you called haunting and moving, and it lasts with you. You said long after the credits roll, you were very affected by it. This anti-fascist movie. You called it a beautiful film, The President's Cake, and you recommend it. And as for your classic movie rec of the week, it is Glory from 1989. Oh, the classics of 89. You
Yes.
said it's even better than you remembered. It tells the story of Black troops fighting for the Union in the Civil War. It got the Oscar for sound, for cinematography, and for Best Supporting Actor for Denzel Washington, right?
Yeah, right.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you said it recreates history with accuracy. It's emotional, it's inspiring, and the musical score really helps with that as well. That is Glory. It is streaming on Netflix, and that is at the movies with Tim Sika. Woohoo!
Woohoo! We'll do more movies next week when I
Mhm.
can catch up.
Yeah,
But
you've
yeah,
been
and
sick, so we give
yeah,
you a break on that one.
yeah, I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Mhm.
Yeah, but I didn't want to miss the opportunity to be with you on this Friday. So
Aw,
yeah.
thanks, Tim.
Oh,
I
you're
hope you
welcome.
feel better. I'm glad you're on the mend.
Yes, I am on the mend, which is a good thing, and I do have my voice back. Actually, I like the sound of my voice like this. It gives my voice a lot more body. More resonance, as they say
Oh,
in radio.
there you
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
At the movies with Tim Sika. Have a great rest of your weekend and feel better soon.
Oh, thanks, Kim. I'll talk to you next week. Thanks a
All right.
lot.
Bye,
Okay,
Tim.
bye.
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 Bye.